And now, the Rise Above Show, presented by Roofing.com and hosted by Diego Dante.
Welcome to the Rise Above Show, presented by Roofing.com. I am your host, Diego Dante. We're here in Salt Lake City, Utah at D2D-Con with my friends Jake, Hess, and Solar Joe.
Solar Joe.
Yes, sir.
How you guys doing?
Awesome.
So good. I love being here.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh, I loved RoofCon. I feel honored being on this.
Cool, man. I appreciate you coming on. I know you were on one of our panels at RoofCon and gave a lot of great insight there. So what do you guys think of D2D so far?
Let's go. That's awesome, man. This is where you can network and meet other people doing the same thing, build relationships, get to learn from the speakers, get some more gold nuggets as much as I can. So I'm loving it.
Cool, man. And I guess, Jake, for you, I know we didn't get a chance much to speak at RoofCon because we were just running around like crazy. But what did you think of RoofCon?
Oh my gosh, I loved RoofCon. I think that RoofCon might have changed the entire orientation of my business for the better. You guys have an amazing audience out there, and that's probably one of the best conferences I've been to in a long time. And I go to conferences.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Well, you guys are watching a special episode because what we're doing is we're doing a month that's just straight focused on solar integration. So as you guys know, we've talked about this. A lot of roofing contractors want to get into the solar space because they know that they need to be there. But a lot of the thing I hear the most is, they don't know where to go. They don't know where to start and what to do once you do get started. What are the best options? And so I wanted to, film a series of episodes where we talk to solar experts that can give people a blueprint of how to integrate solar into their business. That's why I want to bring you guys in here. You guys are with the Solar Academy, and you guys are launching SolarCon.
Oh yeah.
So I figured you guys were, experts to bring on here. So where would we start? Let's say we've got a roofing contractor and they're killing it with the roofing. They've installed a bunch of roofs and they want to get started with solar, but they don't know, where to get started with that. What would you say to this person? What's the best place to get started?
That's a really good question. We actually get that one frequently, so nailed it right on the head. I'm pretty passionate about this one. I would say get started on the operations first. A lot of roofers, they think because they already have the crews and they have the trucks and they have the warehouses usually, that they can just start cranking out sales and they start building the installation side of their business. But I've noticed they tend to make a couple mistakes. The first one is they start spending the money to build that side of the business, thinking kind of the mentality, if you build it, they will come. But it doesn't always work out that way. So you spend that money before creating the revenue stream. I'm a big fan of making sure that you have the sales side built first, and then build the installation side if you need to scale that on the back end of the warehouses and things like that.
So when you say that, and guide us through this. So when you're saying get started with the sales side, how does one do that? Do you team up with a company that's going to do your installs for you? What does that look like?
Yeah, you team up with a company that does the installs. Usually their overhead is a lot less than yours would be when you're initially starting out. I understand that as a roofer and as someone that holds a contractor's license, you want to be in control of that project because you genuinely believe that you can do it better than the next person. If you didn't believe that, you likely wouldn't be in business, right? So most people that do this, they want to be in control of that solar install, but a lot of the roofers, they don't even know how to calculate a price per watt, something as basic as possible. They don't know how solar panels can break down or how the inverters work. And so if you don't even know the basics of solar or how to calculate certain pricing or how dealer fees work or even have financing, then you've jumped the gun and started spending money on building a business that you don't have the money coming in for.
And I guess with the sales part, if someone is, because you said, if they don't even know the basics of it. So with that part of it, I mean, if you sign up to sell for an installer, most of the time I'm guessing they're going to give you some resources to be able to learn how to sell it. Is that right? I mean, how does that typically work?
Yeah.
Or are there resources that people can go to be able to learn at least the basics?
Most of the companies try to teach it, but it all boils down sometimes to financing. Even they buy container pricing on certain solar panels, so they tell people that are using them as an installation organization that this is the best panel on the market. when really it could be one of the lowest ones, but it was financially feasible for them, and it's solar and it saves you money, so who cares, right? But it's important to know all of the products. It's important to know what you're getting into and what you're selling. And so if you do rely on a company, sometimes, not all the time, they do give you the true information, but most of the time they're giving you the information that they want you to sell, and telling you what you need to, which creates a lot of misinformation in the industry. And so we built the Solar Academy to kind of help curb that. But there's other organizations other than the Solar Academy that help as well. So they're out there, but it's not I don't know. What do you think?
It's 100%. It's when you sell for a company, what do they want? They want you to do what's best for the company, for the product, for the service, and sometimes it's what's best for the solar industry, for the solar professional to really upgrade the game or level up.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, this is the Rise Above show. We talk about, I created this podcast to be able to showcase stories of people rising above in their businesses, as a leader, in their personal lives. And so I want to ask both of you guys a series of questions that I ask everyone. And so the first one is, what is the situation in your life where you feel like you've had a failure, and then how are you able to rise above from that? It could be in your personal life, it could be in your business, as a leader, whatever it is.
I'll jump in first. For me, it just makes me think about COVID. A lot of people obviously was struck with the same situation. And for me, I was on a high. I was doing really well. I mean, I was doing a solar seminar tour of California, city to city. I had 2020 booked. I was ready to rock and roll. We were rocking and rolling. And then March 15th, I'll never forget that day. Done. I went from hero to zero in a day. So I had to pivot. And instead of being disappointed or sad, I really took it as a time to make a solution and figure out, hey, yeah, I could pivot to something else. So that's where I really started going into social media. Started my Facebook group, Solar Objections. Started doing live streams. Then I started working with Jake Hess with the Solar Academy. I mean, it's been amazing. So I took a bad situation, and now it's become the best thing in my life. So that's what I would say.
Love it. What about you, Jake?
Mine's a little less businessy. Kind of one of the failures. I'm a little emotional here. When I had my son, I left the day he was born from the hospital. Running my business kind of ran my entire life. One of my biggest regrets in my entire life is missing my son's first 2 years of his life and saying that I was doing that in the name of building a business so I could provide for him. That was my excuse. It took me to a depression. I didn't even know I was depressed. I was angry at everything. I really just emotionally or maybe even psychologically just hit rock bottom, and that was a failure. I let my son down. I let his mom down. It was just a whole disaster. It messes with people and they don't realize it. So I read books. I went to therapy and realized what's really important, and I've been happy ever since.
Dude, I appreciate you sharing that story, because a lot of people go through that type of stuff, and we're all, especially in our industries, we're all, there's a lot of alpha males, there's a lot of testosterone, and we don't want to share a lot of those things, but so many of us are going through, even if it's that, or if it's whatever other thing, if they're dealing with addiction, if they're dealing with whatever thing, we got to start talking about it. And sometimes it's hard to talk about those things, but the fact that you did that could help someone who's listening to the show who is dealing with that right now, and they need to know that they can overcome that. Yep. And that they can get better. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. My next question is, how will you know that you have succeeded in business specifically?
The way you know that, I have my own dream on that, but my dream is I walk through the door, someone bumps my shoulder, spills the papers, and doesn't even know who I am. I made it, but the furthest I got in that was I made $1.4 million in a year, and I only went into the office like 3 months of that whole year. And I feel like that's a good indicator that systems are running properly and they don't necessarily need you. That was a great feeling.
That's awesome, man.
For me, it's about freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of being able to do what you want with your time and be able to give back. And to me, be able to have that freedom is what I'm striving for my family, to be able to educate my kids as much as possible. So for me, it's about freedom and family.
Cool, man. And then my last question that I have for you guys is, as far as these rapid fire questions, is what's a book that's changed your life?
Well, I'm going to jump in really quick because I'm not a big reader, so I'm going to say right off the bat. But my favorite author is Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
I've learned so much from him. I really follow a lot of his recipes, I would say, even though he's not a cook, but he's a cook on social media. And I think giving value, and not trying to get anything in return for it.
Yep.
And great things come from that.
Yeah. Building
the right relationship the right way. So that's my favorite author.
Gary Vee is the reason why we have this podcast.
Yes.
Because it's I know he talks about that a lot, and providing free content. I mean, it's so huge. We do these free retreats. We try to give back as much as possible. So I appreciate you sharing that. What about you, Jake?
I have two, and I'm going to take it. Is that cool?
Go for it.
For business, the E-Myth. That one changed my entire business, my life, and every person that I've given it to. That book is beautiful. And then just...
Who do you know the author on that one, so we can put it in the show notes?
Michael Gerber.
Cool.
It changes everything. If you're struggling in your business, you can't free your time up, and you feel like you're working in your business, that's the book that's going to get you out. The other book that I really love is by Matthew McConaughey. It's called Green Lights.
Yes.
It's one of the best books I've ever read.
Always talking about it.
Oh my goodness. That just changed me as a human, the way I operate, my attitude towards everything.
Yeah.
I love that book.
Cool, man. Well, let's finish up talking about SolarCon. If y'all want to chat about it,
Sure.
give me a little rundown of what SolarCon is, why you guys started this. Where do you feel like you've taken a need in the industry, and how you're feeling it?
Well, the first thing I want to say about SolarCon is Hunter. I don't even know if you know this, but he texts me on the side and makes me feel good when I'm down. He's like, "Oh, dude, you should do this, you should do that." He's been a tremendous help through this whole thing, and I can't thank Hunter enough for that one.
Yeah.
And he's so kind every time I run into him here. Just a great guy for helping with that. But SolarCon, we're pretty excited about it. We just wanted to build it. We wanted to get. We haven't had something for our industry where we had manufacturers and sales reps and installers and financing and softwares. We've all been operating in that for years, but we have never ever had it under one roof. So. And I think it's created a lot of animosity in the industry. People don't understand why installers do what they do. They don't understand why there's dealer fees on these loans, And it's nice to go and hear it from the horse's mouth instead of hearing it third party and getting it wrong, that misinformation. We want to unify the industry, and hopefully bring some good to it.
That's exactly why before even SolarCon, my goal is to unify the industry, camaraderie, work together. Not what's different about us, but what are we doing the same? What are our total goals as an industry? How we help each other? That's a big part of our Facebook group, Solar Objections. It's positive, helping each other. As soon as negativity in a group, out.
Yeah.
We want to keep it positive. We want camaraderie. We want to unify the industry, have everybody under one roof, and we have to talk to each other and build those relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on the show today. I know, like I said, I want to give free value to the people that follow us to be able to, start implementing solar into their businesses, and you guys have been really helpful with that. We're excited about some more episodes that we've got coming out with some other technology companies and some suppliers and all that stuff. So, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on.
Thanks, Diego.
Thank you very much, Diego.
We will see you guys next time on the next episode of the Rise Above Show. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.